Booktube is religion. Don't know if I'm actually saying that, but it's just an interesting thought. This comes up in the context of I was listening to a podcast, the 538 podcast, which is very interested in kind of the measurables. Oftentimes, polling stuff is where they're coming from, and they were talking about how on a lot of polls nowadays, when people asked about their religious affiliation, this is like, and this is in the United States, I'm speaking as a Canadian, that more and more people are putting down none or no religion for when asked, and they had a guest on, a Ryan Burge, who's written a book called The Nuns, where they came from, who they are, and where they're going. And just noting that, like, in 1972, only about 5% of Americans kind of said they had no religion. Up to 2018, it was like 23.7%. And they were talking about this and like how it was going to affect American politics, which is it's all very interesting and stuff like that. But Burge definitely did make the point that just because you've got no religion doesn't mean there isn't anything there. That indeed, that the function, the space that was in people's life for religion has been replaced by other things, and one of those things being the online community. I mean, another one, especially in the Americans context, is sports and stuff like that. But that kind of thing of you're getting your community, you're getting kind of the thing that fulfills a bunch of your life. And I was thinking about this in my context because up until maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, I didn't know anything about BookTube. That happens to be the online community that interests me. But it's kind of one of these interesting things of like it's like I'm an atheist, and people and kind of go like, well, I don't have religion, but it's like you don't have religion, but you do have things that fill your life, that may perhaps fill your life in a way that's akin to religion. This is fandoms, political groups. You got the gamer societies, and communities of interest, places like YouTube where people are really interested in this particular one, or interested in books. But there's also makeup. There's as I said, gaming. There's so many knitting. All kind of different kind of crafts, within that. So I just kind of like, it's like curious. It's like, okay, how is it like religion? Not like is religion, but how is it like religion? And I mean, I think about the functions of religion. That's they're to kind of, what's the function of religion? I mean, it gives you a meaning, because gives you a meaning. It's a framework. Gives you how to frame the world. Gives you kind of, this is, I look at the world through this framework, and it maybe it gives a purpose to that world. Meaning both ways of like, it helps me make sense of the world, but it also gives me like a reason to get up in the morning, kind of thing. There's definitely society, that a church, if you a part of the thing of has to be of going to a church is all the people that you interact with in that church, that you develop a sense of community there. It gives you boundaries of like, this is a group I belong to, and other people don't belong to. And like, you look over there at a different church, and it's like, I don't belong to that one. That's different people. There's boundaries there. There's also sort of the thing of a common language. You develop your own way, with the common meaning. There's also common language of that sort of thing of how you speak, of the way you phrase stuff. It's all kind of a part of the community as well as meaning. There's the idea of comfort. Comfort in religion, it's a place of refuge and reflection. Comfort is also coming, from that friends and that meaning again. There's the idea of authority. of you can kind of looking looking for guidance, looking for someone like you have troubles, someone you can go to and talk to stuff about. Um, you know, and that's not just like the higher powers, God, but like maybe a pastor or priest. Within that structure is what you're going to look for. Which gives you guidance on how to act, how to behave. You know, gives you boundaries of like what you are and aren't allowed to do within a certain thing. Um, I also think about a kind of a church. There's like different sects of like where there's very small differences can seem to be very important to the different groups. Um, and I kind of go through that kind of stuff, and it's very loosely you can see how that can kind of overlay on top the idea of meaning of a purpose and purpose. It's like for me, it's like making booktube videos, or a purpose of you know of like reading. I read, therefore I am, and and stuff like that. There's definitely kind of society. There's people I've met on booktube that it makes it, they are they are a sort of friends. It's interesting online, that thing, but they're sort of friends, but you also have common language, even if it's silliest things. It's like a TBR or tag videos, stuff like that, where you kind of share a common language. And there's comfort there. This is like I often think about this. It's like it's a small place on the internet, which um I know the people we're generally kind to each other. We're not like, thing, and there's chances for reflection and thing like that. Authority, yeah, I mean, there's definitely people out there that like, I don't know if it's authority, but people that I would ask advice of, people that I respect their opinions about stuff. Maybe I'm not going to take it as gospel, to use another word. Um, and there's maybe sort of a certain thing of a guidance of how to act, how to behave. I think all groups kind of develop that of like what's acceptable within a group. um and I can see that on booktube of like if you start acting like a complete asshole, you will probably get pushed out of the group, or people not want to interact with you. Different sects, I mean, we definitely have like there's a fantasy and science fiction. There's the big mega church of YA. There's lit. There's nonfiction. Um, and within some of these genres, someone looking at the outside, it's like they're all books, but it's like we all have our like different little areas of interest. And that kind of you develop different kind of little friend sets within that. Of there's some people I know really well, and other people I only know in brief glancing of. We every once in a while I happen to see them thing. So it's interesting. I wouldn't call booktube religion. Uh, you know, uh, Religion. It's like this isn't the defining thing of my universe. Which isn't to say, I guess there's fundamentalists, there's evangelicals in every aspect of life. So maybe I'm just one of those mushy middle of the road people who's like, yeah, I go there and I enjoy it, but it's not the be all and end all. Well, there's maybe others people that it would be the be all and end all. It's one of these things of I've only known for 4 or 5 years now, and another 4 or 5 years, I could see I could be on to a different interest. I'd still be reading, but maybe it wouldn't be booktube. It doesn't have that permanent feel that at least blanket wise you often you get with religion. Though I mean, the thing about religion nowadays is if you're not actually raised in the religion that you have, it maybe have less of a feel of permanence to it. There's maybe more of a way station thing, and maybe a more thing of um, people have much more of a thing of I'm gonna choose the religion that suits me at this moment, and I'll move on if it doesn't suit me. Versus maybe kind of an older view of religion of like this is how the religion is. I need to shape myself towards it. So it's an interesting thought. And I mean, I think, and also it's like BookTube is a fairly benign, pretty light kind of um, version of some of the online worlds. Some of the online worlds are very intense. At least it seems from the outside. From the outside, are very intense, or very all-encompassing. Whether it's they can really, I mean, and I guess you can say that about fandoms, which some of the fandoms are book based, some of them are more entertainment based. They can be really all consuming for some of the people in them, and I think that's maybe some people have more of an intense need for that kind of structure, that kind of envelopment in their world than others. So, you know, it's an interesting thought to think of, like, oh, with religion gone, somehow human nature is going to change. It's like, no, without organized religion, I'm still looking for society. I'm still looking for meaning. Um, I'm still looking for a lot of the functions of religion, um, but just not religion itself. So yeah, it's an interesting thought experiment. Yeah, no, I don't think there's a few saints. There's an empress of Bales, but I don't think we've quite hit the level of BookTube as religion yet. So yeah, we'll leave it there. More videos later.